Right, welcome back to James Whale Unleashed tonight.
Starring
filmmaker Rich Felgate is producing a new film. It's about Just Stop Oil. For the first time, this is a total exclusive. Here's a trailer for the movie.
This isn't where I saw myself a few months ago. It's growing in young people, this sense of overwhelming panic.
Why that got sunflowers?
Because it's so iconic. What is worth more, art or life? This isn't about popularity. It's about opening up conversation and getting people's attention.
I think what you're doing is the right path, so I just don't think you're doing it the right way. And I think it's a shame. I'm doing my bit, so why do you stop me?
Are you bringing people with you? Are you bringing people with you? Why aren't you telling people how bad it's going to get?
This is by far the biggest thing I've done. It's not like I can say, oh, my husband's upset, I'm going to walk away from this now. I am morally compelled to do what I'm doing.
Just Stop Oil protesters shut large parts of the M25 this morning.
And it's vowed to continue the protest daily unless the government agrees to stop issuing gas and oil drilling licences.
She's really young and she's been through a lot. I really want to keep her out of jail.
Will the Prime Minister consider making Just Stop Oil a prescribed organisation so that they can be treated as the criminal organisation they actually are?
Are we doing the right thing? Are we doing enough of it? I really hope so.
The time for words is over.
That's an exclusive here on the show tonight. Nobody else has seen it. Rich, welcome. Thank you very much indeed for taking some time. Now, this is a documentary-style film about Just Stop Oil, and as far as I understand it, you infiltrated them. I'm not sure if that's a difficult thing to do or not, or you got in with them.
Infiltrated might be a bit of a strong word, but it's a behind-the-scenes look showing the people in Just Stop Oil, because we hear a lot about the so-called eco-mob, but I don't think the public sees who these people really are, and also the kind of state crackdown that they've faced, this erosion of our civil liberties and the right to protest.
Well, there's a right to protest, but not to get in front of me and say you can't come down here. That's not a right.
Most people do know who you are. Most of them, well, assume they're posh people, and some of the women have purple hair. I mean,
the rest are students.
We do know what they are.
So is that your experience?
Is that your experience? Are you with them, or are you independent, just doing a documentary, or do you believe in the Just Stop Oil?
So you kind of proven my point that for the need for this type of film that shows who these people really are, because this stereotype that they're all...
Well, no, there's a lot of 70-year-old women.
So tell me...
Do you want me to...
Would you be quiet and will you just listen?
Yes, please.
Or interrupt?
So, do you want to go too? Because, you know, I'm quite happy just to take phone calls.
There's a guy who needs company on the way back to Manchester.
Yeah.
It's 200 miles.
So have you made this film, which is not finished yet because you've run out of money, have you made this film, everything is fine, have you made it to promote Just Stop Oil, or have you made it to change people's mind about Just Stop Oil? What have you done?
I want people to make up their own minds, but I want them to have all the information.
And what is the information you want them to have?
So really, I'm holding up a mirror to what actually happens behind the scenes of these protests that we hear so much about in the news.
And so what happens behind the scenes?
Why would ordinarily law-abiding people, grandmothers, vicars, why would they get arrested for this
not many
cause?
of them are getting arrested.
They feel it gives them a use in life.
They
feel it gives them some use in life at that age. They get a bit put, and they've got money, they've paid their mortgage up, and they think, oh, I'll do this for the kids. You know, it's sort of a virtue signalling type thing.
Yeah.
So that's another misconception which I will address in the film. So you said that not many of them get arrested.
No, they do.
Over about 150 of them have been in prison so far.
Good. That's excellent.
I've filmed people being sent to prison for marching down the road, and I think regardless of your view on Just Stop Oil
blocking
or the climate
ambulances,
crisis.
blocking cars.
It's an issue of
stopping
freedom of
people
speech.
getting.
You know,
it's not. It's an issue.
You're
that you
a free
can say
speech
what you
advocate,
want,
yeah?
and you can come on here and say what you want, but so can I. And the fact that a lot of people, and I think probably the majority of people, don't agree with Just Stop Oil because people actually get annoyed about them. The police didn't do anything about it because public opinion turned. The police had to do something about it. They had to arrest them. You can't just block a motorway and pretend I'm not doing anything violent, I'm not committing a crime or anything. You know, it's just ridiculous.
I don't think any of us...
I thought you were making a movie just to explain what was in the minds of these people who do it.
Exactly, but there's bigger issues at play.
What are they?
I don't think anyone wants to live in a society where you get put in prison for walking down a road with a sign, or
blocking people. You could call it, or you could call it killing people because
I've been arrested 3 times.
You're a journalist.
I'm a filmmaker. Yeah, I've been arrested 3 times.
But anybody can be a filmmaker. All you need is a mobile phone.
It's true, we're all filming.
My
camera's
a bit more.
You should see me the
bit
iPhone
more expensive.
Camera, the iPhone.
But I've been arrested 3 times for just filming protests.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen if you ever want to protest and the police have these powers to just shut you down?
What do you mean you were arrested
away?
for filming? It can't be. What was the actual arrest for?
Well, there's been several.
There's only
of them,
3 times, so.
So, for example, one time when they were protesting on the M25, I was on a public footbridge with some
there
other...
was actually the police got a telling off for that because that was ridiculous.
Exactly. You know, that's the way that we're
stupid
going.
of the police. That was, but we do know about that. That was a big story. There was the other place radio station, a woman. It was terrible what happened to it, and there was a photographer, and the police had to apologise. So that's one. But what was the other ones?
So I filmed some of the iconic footage of the soup protest. The next day, the police just came and grabbed me on the street.
Is it
just for filming it?
But you had advance. No, maybe it was for what did they?
You were
charge
throwing soup at a work of art, or you were filming.
I filmed the
protest. But did you know it was going to happen? Because that could be a crime.
You're obviously part of them, aren't you? You were going along there. They invited you along to make a film about it. You were just one of them.
Is that what they arrested for?
There were several other journalists there as well, and also, you know, when I was filming the M25 protest, Charlotte Lynch from LBC got arrested.
That's right.
Another press photographer I was with
That's what I just
arrested.
said.
Is
but
she
we know
part
all
of
about
Just
that.
Stop Oil?
No, you're right. The police behave badly.
And
we know that.
That
doesn't mean you're right, though,
anyway?
just because we know the police behave badly a lot of the time.
Well, she worked for a channel, didn't she?
But we actually knew that. So they filmed it.
The whole point of this is you've come on here to promote your movie because you've run out of money to make it, right? That's what you've come on to do.
I got invited on here.
We invite thousands of people.
They keep saying they were invited. We don't. People just turn up.
You ask people if they want to come on the show. If they come on...
Did someone do that?
I
thought these people just walked in.
I thought we sat here and people walked in. Yeah.
So what, I'm crowdfunding for this film because I think it's really important that this story is told independently.
And what do you think it'll
free
do?
from
people know what you want.
We already knew it. I just told you about your own film.
Are you against everybody that's successful? What would you listen? If you could do anything now to save the world, in your view, all right? What would you do tomorrow if you were in government? What would you do?
I think our media needs to no longer be controlled by a small amount of billionaires.
We're not controlled. I can say anything I want, and quite often
social media is not controlled.
So I'm giving you the chance to say whatever you want. Now, go on.
So
here we are.
TalkTV is run by is owned by Rupert Murdoch, right? There's one man with such huge influence.
Are you a complete nutter? Are you really this stupid? I'm giving you the right on a program, right? My program, to say your piece.
Starring Ash.
And you're scared. Why are you scared? I'm asking you a question.
I'm listening.
I'm asking you a question. If you were the Prime Minister or in charge now, what do you think needs to be done to save the world? What would you do immediately?
All right, so I've already said we need to start telling the truth and have media that's not under the influence of billionaires.
I'm giving you the chance. You're not even answering the question.
Physically, what have we got to do to stop the world blowing up? Never mind the media.
All right.
The truth is that we're in a dire climate crisis.
So what are we going to do about that?
And we need to stop
oil
continuing business as usual with more and more fossil fuels. New oil, new gas.
You've got no idea, have you? You've come in here to try and get a bit of plugging for your movie, which is to promote Just Stop Oil, who are, let's face it, not really very popular.
And you're annoying
anymore.
people destroying paintings. It doesn't help the cause.
And you've got no answer. So what do you want to do? Stop all cars and planes moving immediately? Because, quite frankly, apparently, that is going to ruin the world. You want to change the way people live, the way people eat? What do you want to do? I'm asking you. You're in power. You can do whatever you want. And I've given you the freedom of the media to say, this is what we should do. Say it.
The solution.
Right, so we need a world where people have enough to eat. If we continue down this path with carbon emissions,
you see, you're doing it again.
We're going to destroy the living conditions we need
listen to me.
to be able
you're
to grow
not that
food.
stupid. Come on. I'm asking you, if you had the power to do something about it, what would you do? What do you want to see the government or governments around the world doing?
I want to see the truth about the climate crisis.
What is the truth about it? Tell me the truth.
The truth is that we're hurtling towards a world of 2-3 degrees warming, where there's going to be vast swathes of the planet.
Truth? Because unfortunately, the climate changes all the time.
Yeah, it was freezing last week, wasn't it?
I've watched your show before, and I know that you don't believe in man-made climate change. So I think
I do. No. Let me get this right. This is what I believe. And listen, I believe that climate is changed by very many things, including mankind. And whatever happens to live on this planet...
There's been some movement since I watched the show
said that,
previously.
didn't you? I said that. I remember
Things are changing, you know. Even James's mind is being changed.
I think it's time you went. I think it's time we took a break, because I'm bored, and you're not going to answer the question. The question is, what would you do? What should be the first thing? Here we are. We give you power. What should be the first thing that you do to help save the planet?
Stop new oil and gas. Stop making the problem worse.
There you go.
Yeah, we are. Well, that'll make it worse.
Fine
so
answer.
Why don't you and your friends go and make some of this movie in China or India or America?
You wouldn't sit in the road in China, would you?
People bring that up a lot when these protests are unfolding in the streets. It's something I cover in the film, you know. We need to have this conversation. Why aren't people going to China? Well, because this is our country.
Why?
People want to protest against their government.
But China's much more worse. It's much worse for them.
This is your
You
hobby.
have a bone to pick with the government
This is
quite
your
often,
fun.
right?
Yeah, I do.
So you take it to them.
I do.
These
but
protesters have a bone to pick with
so what are you
the
going
UK
to do?
government.
We
so
use
they're
the
taking it to
democratic
them.
ballot box. Don't block people's lives. Just you, like we all have to. You have to.
So I'm not a protester with Just Stop Oil. I'm a filmmaker. So
you're on their side. You're not independent.
I'm much more independent with telling the truth about the climate crisis.
Well, that's
you're
doing.
You're just
hang on. What you're saying is telling the truth, your truth, which isn't necessarily anybody else's truth. You know, the climate is changing. Eventually, mankind will not survive on this planet. Hopefully, it won't be too soon, but you never know, because as soon
Probably
as the
be
planet,
world war that kills us.
Possibly.
Don't you think that's awful?
I think it's terrible.
Mankind might not survive.
I think,
how much suffering there's going to be?
It's the way the world is.
Don't you think we should do
but
something
there'll be
about
nuclear warfare that does
the
that.
problem is you've
that's
not
that's
lived
awful.
through anything bad.
That's our children that are going to have to face that.
I haven't had any children.
Let's do something about it.
Yeah, what are you going to do? When the government asks you to go along to the recruiting office because we bring back conscription, what are you going to do?
Conscription? I don't think we're going to bring back conscription.
No, but if we do.
We want you.
What am I going to do? That's a completely hypothetical situation.
Yeah, what are you going to do if they do?
It depends.
Would you fight to defend this country?
From
I mean, you're prepared to film people and sit down. Anybody who wants to actually invade this country, and there may well in the future be somebody who does.
Well, that's going to be completely dependent on the situation, what I do.
There's an enormous amount of wars going on in this country which are probably more detrimental to the climate than whether we use oil or gas.
Yeah, there's a lot more pressing issues.
I think the survival of humankind is quite a pressing issue. Whether we can continue to grow food to survive is quite a pressing issue.
Well, I think we still seem to be doing that.
You want us to all eat insects, don't you?
Do you want us to eat insects?
That's what they want us to do.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
that's what's coming.
What do you want us to eat?
You brought me on here to talk about
your
movie. Not about what you want. You keep saying we're going to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. What should we eat?
I brought you on here. Well, I didn't actually. I brought you on here because I was told that you're a young guy making this movie to tell the real story of Just Stop Oil. But what you're basically doing is making a movie to promote them. And So
I mean, James, you haven't seen the film yet. You're making a bit of an assumption now.
I've seen the
and I
trail.
think you're interested in Just Stop Oil and with climate activists. I think you'd be interested to see the motivations of these people, what they're really like.
I think I know.
Whether you agree with them or not, watch the film, make up your own mind.
I
just want to give people the opportunity.
Lots of them. And they basically, once you get down to the nitty-gritty, they're having a bit of a laugh because they're causing a bit of trouble. They're making a name for themselves, some of them, which is why they come on these programmes. But they're not really doing anything or have any idea how to help the country in the future. Getting rid of gas and oil and going all electric isn't going to work. It's not going to work. Net zero won't happen.
I don't know what you like to do on your days off, but marching down the road and getting sent to prison for it isn't really anyone's idea of fun.
People have done that since the Vietnam War.
I don't think the argument that they're doing it just because it's a nice day out really holds up.
I think they're doing it because they get brainwashed into thinking they're doing something. But, how many more times?
It's like a youth culture. It's the new, Gothic, isn't it? It's like being, something to do.
Listen, thank you for coming in. I've got a break now. I didn't realise we'd gone on so long. I thought we'd get rid of him and do some...
Where's it out, your movie? Where can we watch your movie?
It's not finished. He hasn't got any money.
At all good theatres.
It's crowdfunding on Indiegogo.
We'll take a break. Thank
support. If you want to hear about Just Stop Oil, support the crowdfunder.
Yeah.
Hey, very good.